Carson, because you are the new captain now, you need to know what's been going on around here. I was very close with Helen, so likewise, I had access to some of the classified stuff that was going on Halifax. Of course, she had communications that was going directly to her that I have since seen because we had to make the trip back. But on our journeys, we kept coming across people talking about dragons and ghosts. We weren't exactly sure what was going on with that. At one point, we met a soldier that was talking about seeing dragons. No, he was talking about seeing ghosts. And he actually got turned in for probably for having drugs on him. Knowing what we know now, that may have not have been, that could have been, a misstep, but we'll see if we ever head back in that direction. But the big part about what's going on is on our last journey, we were pulled out of cryosleep. We were pulled out of cryosleep because there was a distress call from a research station. And when we got there, it looked like a massacre had taken place. I believe we found pods, but I don't recall if they were all empty or not. Regardless, we found some pods. We found lots of dead staff. We found one guy that was talking about finding his daughter. So we were looking throughout the station for her. And while we were doing that, we came across an android that appeared to have made it looked like he had done all of the damage. But after talking to him, we think he may have seen something and decided that whatever he saw needed to be purged at all costs. Now, we don't know if that means that he killed everybody or if whatever he saw killed everybody, but we decided to kind of leave him to his own devices, and we said, hey, we're just going to leave the station and not deal with that. Going back out into the main corridor, we found a little girl trapped. Well, not trapped. I don't know. I don't think trapped was the right word, but she was hiding in kind of a secret compartment. And she says that she saw everything and that the android had done had done everything and didn't know, how much she could be trusted or anything. So we decided that we were going to bring her back with us. And about that time, we were able to get some of the logs off of the ship, off of the sorry, me and words today. We were able to get a lot of the logs off of the computer from the station. But as we were fixing to head back to the ship, something came out, and we don't know what it was, but we saw little red dots, and then that's where we lost our company rep in Helen. There was no way of even recovering their bodies because we had to run out of there so fast. So Cable and I escaped with the little girl who we found out her name was Imogen. And I believe Andromeda was... I can't recall if Andromeda was on the ship or if she was waiting right there at the door. Regardless, it wound up being just the four of us. Imogen suffered from blackouts, as the way that she would describe them. And it was whenever it appeared to be kind of whenever she would get upset about something, she would black out. So we took her back onto the ship, and see, I'm trying to recall. Jim, I'm looking back through my notes. I'm trying to recall what happened as we flew away, if there was anything going on the station.
As you were flying
away from the station, yeah.
Yeah, he contacted you, short length communications, said a few words, and then as he said those few words, you started hearing a beep noise, and there was a beep noise that kept getting faster.
That's right. So I guess I don't know that we saw it blow up, but I'm suspecting that was the self-destruct.
Yeah, you definitely saw it blow up.
Okay. So I don't know why I don't have that written down here. I think we were all in shock.
Yeah.
It happened. So there was, needless to say, there's no recovering of bodies. So we're back on the ship, and we decide to put Imogen in. I take her down into the med lab to start doing some scans on her. And we find out she is actually an android, and she does not know it. But the worst part of it is that there is a container inside of her that's the size of her torso that contains something similar to the egg. They're the pods that we saw on the ship. Now, once we actually started looking at the documents that we received from the station, we found out that she is an incubator for a biological weapon. And WY has been asking for her. Being a doctor and everything that I've gone through, I've tried to do my best to try to make, keep her comfortable and keep her calm. Right now, she is in cryo. So our other person, which I can't remember his name, William, does not yet know about her. And Cable and I were discussing right before we got here ways to try to extract that thing from her, but we are afraid that she may have some sort of programming or something that might kick in, and we know that she's got to stay cool because from the notes we found, if she starts to her body can initiate a warming process to hatch the egg if too much stress is detected. Needless to say, something that's called a biological weapon I did not want to bring onto the station. So she's still in cryo. Best we can tell, she stays in cryo. I mean, I'm not, an expert on androids and cryostasis, but we know that they can survive in sub-zero temperatures. So I don't know her level of consciousness when she's in cryo. So we've been very careful in anything that we said on the cryo deck. So a couple of options have been either to try to extract it from her, and it kills me to say this, but try to eject her somehow from the ship and burn it up in the engines, because I, as a doctor, cannot allow for a biological weapon to fall into pretty much anybody's hands. Obviously, you being captain now, it's your prerogative, but I'm still going to voice my opinion on this. So that's where we're at. I'm looking back here through the logs and trying to see if there's anything else that you need to know from a classified standpoint. So Kate was aware of the distress call. Kate has not asked about Imogen. We have not mentioned anything about that to her. So the only people now that are aware of even her existence is the three of us on the ship. My goal was to try to remove it somehow from her body. We didn't know if that meant, some sort of targeted cryo to keep the thing that was inside her from warming up or anything like that, or if it was to get her into a bay where we can expose her to the vacuum of space and then open it up. But the idea of, the logistics of trying to get her from point A to point B without her figuring out what's going on and panicking because we can't risk her having blackouts. Turns out that the blackouts are a defense mechanism to keep the pod from hatching too early or activating too early. So we don't really know what it is. I think we were able to tell that it was some sort of just creature thing. I mean, it wasn't anything that we have recognized visually. So that's pretty much where we're at. I know that's a pretty large information dump.
Yeah. So we have a biological weapon on our ship.
Well, we have what I've been calling a vessel that is holding a dormant biological weapon on our ship. Yes, I understand that splitting hairs in the verbiage. Cable would be happy just blowing her right out into space. I would like to try to get around that, but even a doctor can see when he's reached the end of his expertise. Or medic. Yeah. I keep saying doctor, but I'm just a medic. A wannabe doctor.
How far does your understanding of artificial life go?
Well, I do have a contact that I have sent out to. Let's see. I did meet somebody back on one of the stations a while back. It's one of our first missions with the rest of the with Cable, actually. And I have asked her if there is a way to quietly disable a broken android for some simple repairs. And if we can do that, then we could potentially move her out into vacuum with us in, atmosphere suits. Expose the midsection to the vacuum of space, which should keep it from warming up, of course. Especially if we were to be able to puncture a hole inside of the cryotube, it would allow it to essentially not thaw at all. Mm-hmm. So that's my thinking. And I told her that the android was being a bit belligerent about the repairs, so we need a way to do it without the android knowing, because it needs to be fixed. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's enough to actually get a valid answer without arising too much suspicion.
Yeah, I am all in favor of the ejection into the space. If I'm glad that you have that contact. My other suggestion was going to be maybe there's some way we could talk to Isabel, who's working on Andromeda, and figure out how to word it carefully to maybe get some answers on how to go about doing that. We're going to have to figure out a way to execute that plan without drawing too much attention.
Well, I
especially
would
from
not.
William.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was going to leave it up to you to determine how much he needs to know, if any. I mean, I hate to do this, but we could always leave him in cryo the next time we jump while we deal with this problem.
True.
Obviously, we'll have to answer for that, but
Well, I'm sure we can fake something to make it seem like there was a slight malfunction in getting him out of cryo. I'm not really worried about that, but I like that idea.
I mean, we've even thought about essentially just opening a cargo door while we were in space and letting that entire floor flood with vacuum, so we can open her from the cryotube directly in the vacuum of space. But should anything go wrong, we need to be close by because we could lose our cryotubes.
Right.
There's always a possibility of, I mean, if you're looking at Halifax map there, those are our escape pods right there. So if we had to feign an event and get her in an escape pod and get it ejected, that's probably the path of least resistance here, I think.
Yeah.
We also have to worry about, should she start to figure out what's going on, there may be some sort of automated system that kicks in on her as well. Because clearly she was programmed not to know, or the program that's running right now is that she does not know that she's an android. That doesn't mean that there's not another program that's sitting idle.
Right.
So while she is a little girl, she has the potential to be incredibly dangerous, even lacking what's in her core.
Yeah. I
know this isn't quite what you signed on for, but you needed to know what was going on.
Well, yeah, everything just got a lot spicier. So when you responded to the distress signal, what was your debrief with Weyland-Yutani? What did you tell him happened there?
Okay, what we told at Weyland-Yutani, I don't know that we've actually, let's see. I told Kate that before we jumped, I said station destroyed, 2 casualties, ship issues, will respond when able. Then we said that, we would contact her upon arrival. And then she just said, please head to the station after completing the job. So she has not actually asked about what happened at the station. Yeah. So so there's that. And she didn't seem, when we were talking with her, she didn't seem to be the person that was actually looking for Imogen, the android. And I'm looking through the logs right now because I know where was that? Okay. It's under the unclassified logs section. You can see the actual messages that we retrieved from Aeon Station.
Okay.
What's so interesting about this is the guy that wrote these logs, he kept referring to Imogen as his little girl suffering. And he doesn't mention anything about what's inside of her, but I find it hard to believe that he was not aware of that. Because he was a scientist, if I'm remembering correctly. It was Ann Station's research facility. Now it does look like he did many trials there, because I mean, trial 71.
What were the trials involving?
That we don't know. I don't believe we received any. I don't believe we retrieved any information on what the trials actually were. This was just the logs. GM, that's correct, isn't it? We didn't get any kind of program or anything. It was just the logs.
Yeah, you got a couple. You pulled 3 logs from the terminal.
Yeah,
that was written by him.
Trial 37, 53, and 71. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yep. So that's. Well, there's nothing. I don't know how we could pull anything else.
No, you got to remember, Andromeda told you that she still has more data to go through. It's all encrypted.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Me and brain stuff. Yeah, I don't have that.
I just find it. Look, I'm not a smart man. I like to fly big ships through space. It just seems very strange to me that we have this research facility just happens to have this little girl that doesn't know that she's an android that's housing this weapon, and then all of a sudden this type of thing happens where everyone ends up dead because an android saw something and thought that it needed to take care of doing whatever it is. You lose a majority of your crew.
Well, given what the way that we saw our crew members lose their lives, the android may have been doing what it absolutely appears that he may have been doing what he was programmed to do, and that's protect.
Well, Ward, you do have some additional information that I don't know if you brought up yet. Under player handouts. That might clarify that a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so.
I think
I didn't realize that. Was that always there?
You gained access. No, you've had access. You have.
Okay, so yep. So I do have a okay. Well, first off, Aeon Station was a Weyland-Yutani location, so that was an official station. So this means that Weyland-Yutani is in on it. Let's see. He probably also has access to those 2 player handouts, doesn't he? As captain,
he should.
So yeah, if you look under player handouts, you'll see Imogen Gray and Project Visage.
He does not.
Yeah.
Let me add you. Are you able to see who has access to that document, Matt? Ward?
No, I can't see permissions on it.
Okay.
At all.
Good. Okay. Carson, you should have access to both of those now.
I see him. but I probably wouldn't be in a place to pull them up as we're having this conversation, would I?
Well, if we're either on the flight deck or in the captain's quarters, yes.
Gotcha.
If we're in the bridge or the captain's quarters, you'd be able to pull these up because there's a terminal on both.
So let's just say that that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So the missing child alert is kind of odd because it says that she's missing and that she was abducted from a sponsored location and that her father's name is Patrick Gray, but Patrick Gray is the person that we found at the station. So I suppose it's possible that Patrick took her to that station. But then, when Weyland-Yutani might not know what all is going on because that's a public alert for the Weyland-Yutani employees, whereas the confidential Project Visage actually lists Patrick Gray as the project manager. So it's pretty clear that that's a confidential type program that's going on. And notice that it says, the custom programming should help protect the host from traditional hacking techniques.
Yep. Wonderful.
Yeah, notice where it says if the host were to find out that it was an android, it may overheat, causing premature birth. So so we could trigger, try to trigger a blackout and just hope that it's not, the last one.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you arrived on the station, do you remember getting asked about GJ1105?
Yes, we were asked if we had ever been to that location because there was a contagion there. That's not around Aeon Station, as far as I can recall.
Right.
It's very close to Lumina Station, though.
Yeah.
I think it's about half a click.
Why have you been there?
No, I have not. Give me 1 second.
Now, I did notice that where it says that the blackout protocol is a known issue, it says manual intervention is needed when a blackout may not always trigger. It says that shutting down the host is an option, which means that there is a way to shut her down. But it says traditional hacking methods, which makes me believe that there is actually a programmed shutdown sequence that we could access that is not a hack. Especially if they say, hey, this is manual intervention, calm her down or just shut her down entirely.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the blackout protocol is also in place.
Right. Well, it says that it says because the blackouts do not always trigger, that's when the manual intervention would be required. And again, because she is in cryo, I don't know. Obviously, her conscious mind as the child is not registering what's being said on the cryo deck. Well, that's my theory. But it doesn't mean that there's not something running behind the scenes. You know.
Gotcha.
I did notice that I gave her some medicine to calm her down, and the medicine didn't appear to do much.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so her system isn't necessarily mimicking the metabolization of medical products. So it mimics food and water, so that there's waste. But I don't think we could, get her drunk or, get her on any other medication. I don't think that's going to work.
Understood.
So
yeah, I'm just.
I don't know if this is information that you just want to sleep on and just kind of go our ways and make sure that nobody goes on the cryo deck. I do have a very rudimentary way of telling if anybody actually went on the cryo deck. I did put a piece of surgical tape up there towards the top where nobody looks at. So if we go in there and we find that that's been opened, then we know that somebody has been on cryo deck and we don't know who it is. I don't believe, Mother does not have the ability to tell us who has been on the cryo deck.
Right.
And when Andromeda was on here, she was on here when we first went onto the station. She was on here with instructions to make sure that nobody goes into the cryo deck because we were trying to maintain, a little bit of secrecy about what's going on. Because the last thing we want is, somebody from the station, that was just going by and inspecting or whatever to find her and to let her out.
Right. Yeah, this is a lot to digest.
Bam, right into it.
I just fucking Weyland-Yutani. They help me pay my bills, but I just don't know what's going on with all of this. Okay. Well,
and there was one other thing to consider is that, hold on a second, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry about that. Under the Project Visage project status, it says that the host can be remotely activated to warm up the contents. That's yet another reason to keep people from knowing that we've even encountered her.
Right.
And now what I don't know is what this thing can actually do. There doesn't seem to be any information about what the egg pod is. I know that it says that she is a bioweapon, but it's just very hard to see even an android programmed as a child to be referred to as a bioweapon. When should we be able to get this thing out of her, she could continue existing. But maybe that's just a personality flaw on my end.
I understand that and I respect it. I'm not sure if that's I think
Not
I'm more
cables.
worried about getting it out of there.
That's not Cable's mindset. He wants to boot and burn.
Yeah, I guess I'm just there's a lot going on in my mind, and I guess the focus of it is to figure out how we get that. Either first priority definitely is to get it off. If we can try to get it out and then off, but if all else fails, it just her and that thing got to go. And we got to do it without anybody finding out about it.
And I don't know if you recall, when we first got back onto the ship, we collected our weapons and our suit and our pressure suits, whatever they are. I forget what they're called. Our EV suits we had stashed in the life pods, so that should anything had happened while we were in cryo, should she have, falled for lack of a better term, falled. If she had exited cryo and started to panic or something, we would have stuff right there to try to blow a hole inside of the cryo deck to, blow her out of the ship. I know it's very morbid, but that was our reason for stashing our equipment there.
And I was a little curious as to why there was an interest in ape suits and more ammunition and weaponry. So,
what, just in our inventory or?
Well, when we were purchasing things that are at the station, there was a lot of searching for ape suits and weaponry.
Well, we had, that's because we had actually purchased an additional ape suit that Helen was wearing. So part of that was, replacing, ship inventory. But because we are going so many places, I mean, outside of the three-world empire, you just never know what we're going to encounter. And because the ship doesn't have any defensive measures of itself, the least we can do is try to have some defensive method should somebody come aboard.
I don't blame you, especially after what you saw and what you went through. There's two things that I'm struggling with, and I'm struggling with trying to figure out an idea and trying to figure out how we execute this. And then there's another part of me that I'm trying to push back because, as I had told you, that I was a friend of Helen's as well, and hearing that she was lost under such questionable and strange circumstances, I don't want to say that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but working for this company for a while and hearing stories about things, you always just wonder what this company actually knows is going on and what's things that are happening. And to know that, it just bothers me.
Yep. So GM, what do we know about Weyland-Yutani and any military efforts? Do they have their own enforcement arm of the company? Would it strike us as really odd that they had confidential technology programs that center around biological weapons?
If you want me to, I can give you a rundown. It'll take a few minutes.
Well,
what do you think?
About Weyland-Yutani?
Yeah.
Well, Weyland-Yutani was responsible for developing a lot of the weaponry that is used. I mean, the
so
all of that stuff was an invention of Weyland Corporation before it merged with Weyland-Yutani.
I suppose Ward should have known that, but I guess he can pretend to have been neck deep in his medical studies while the world was spinning around.
Truth be told, that's kind of a weak point of Alien RPG is they don't have a player handbook for you to like read up on that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So you really are at the mercy of what I give you, unfortunately. So
I mean, it gives you more flexibility, but it also puts more responsibility on you.
yeah. So because there's like a whole write up about Weyland-Yutani. It's just I could put it into a doc and send it to you all if you want me to.
Yeah, I mean, if it's information that you think we would need to know anyway, and that our characters would just know about the company, then sure. I mean, I'll read through it.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt. I'll do that.
Cool.
Well, as Google doesn't. Actually, I shouldn't say this one line. Never mind.
So obviously, all this information with Imogen and everything is very, very new to all of us. As of now, that would have been 6 days ago to us. Yeah. So all this happened within a week.
Mm-hmm.
Within a week of us being awake, that is.
Right.
Of course, I wasn't counting time spent traveling while popsicle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we didn't have a good plan thought out yet.
Yeah, this is a lot to think about, but I'm glad that you filled me in, and we definitely don't want William to know any of this information. I don't really trust the company rep guys. They're a different breed and have different mindsets on how they see the world than us who actually work on the ships and do our jobs.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, Andromeda obviously is aware of all this as well. So she's been a good ally in all this, in helping protect as much as she can.
Let's hope so, because.
But I'm wondering if we just need to
build her.
Yeah, and when we first got Andromeda. When you're looking in the classified logs, you'll see that I put in there that I think that she was wiped because she learned something that she wasn't supposed to learn. Because we ran into her in Elements the first time, and then when we met her again, she didn't have a recollection of meeting us, and she was acting a little bit different. But you can see Kate's message in log 2.1.1. So I'm wondering what that's all about. Maybe we need to throw Andromeda in the X-ray machine. I don't know.
Well, I think that if that were the case, while she was being worked on, Isabel might have noticed something that was different.
Yeah, I think it all depends on how much you're paying the people that do the work, on how quiet they'll be. So, I mean, just thinking outside the box. If we're going down the path that the company is doing something they really, really shouldn't be doing, then, I mean, does that cloud hang over everything?
Yeah.
As you two are talking, you hear dog start to bark a lot and real loud, coming from the hallway.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Out.
So I'm gonna go into the hallway and then go out towards where the dog's barking.
Same.
Okay, as you're walking where you are now, the barking stops.
Was it an abrupt stop? I'm gonna kind of take off running.
As you're coming down the hall, you don't see anything.
All right, I'm gonna go into storage, look through the window. Is the door still closed?
Yeah. When you look in the window, you see Dog sitting like he does when he's at attention.
All right, I'm gonna open the door.
Okay.
And say, what do you see? What do you see, boy? I think he's a boy.
Yeah. Well, when you open the door, you see that Dog is standing attention to Imogen as she is petting him.
I'll say, hi, Imogen. When did you get out?
Oh, hey. Yeah, I just woke up.
I don't think we were going to let you stay in cryo until we actually got you to a facility that could help. Because remember, I don't have everything that's necessarily needed at the med lab. So that's why we were all awake.
Yeah, my navigation system suggested that we haven't moved for several days.
Yeah.
So my emergency system woke me up.
Yeah, what happened is when we had to come here to make our delivery anyway, and this is Carson, our captain. He's a good guy from what I can tell. So we were having a few days of downtime to resupply and recuperate after losing our captain and our representative, our company representative. So that's why we haven't moved.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm just going to stay here and play with Dog.
That sounds like a great idea.
Okay, I'm going to walk over to Dog and be like, all right, you behave yourself. I got some bug juice with your name on it. If you behave yourself, I don't know if he can understand me or not.
She's like, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to back out.
Yeah, we're
of
going
the
to back
room
out.
And slide the door closed and just look over at Carson. Holy crap.
Can we lock her in there? We got to find a way to occupy this android child so that she doesn't go wandering off the ship.
I mean, I can stay with her. I mean, if we're worried about,
I won't go anywhere. I'll stay here. I don't mind.
Whispering? You close the door. Are you whispering?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that sounds like a great idea.
GM, did she actually say that?
Yeah, she said that. Yeah. I'm aware you close the door and you're outside.
Ward, let's go into my quarters.
I'm gonna stick my head in. It's like, hey, Imogen, we'll be right back. Are you all good?
Yeah, sure. I'll be right here.
All right. When we come back, we'll be back shortly, and we'll head into the mess hall. We got a little more cornbread. I don't know if you remember that.
I was just saying, I am a little hungry. I might head over there and have a little bite to eat or something. But
I tell you what, we'll come and get you. All right. I don't want to spoil the surprise with the cornbread because it's a different manufacturer. So
okay, no problem.
All right, and I close the door back. Mm-hmm. Just kind of look at Carson, kind of shrug my shoulders. All right, yeah, we can head to your quarters.
Good God.
Or we can head into the med lab.
Yeah.
So it's closer.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, God.
The med lab is down south.
There we go.
down there.
Well,
say we got to keep our voices down.
Apparently, her hearing is really good. Okay.
Yes. And I'm clinking stuff around in the med lab, just kind of moving stuff around, trying to cover anything we say.
Well, this changes things.
I'm not sure that it does, because we're gonna have to get into cryo in 2 days anyway. So
It's true, but how are we going to keep it from William, though?
How are we gonna keep what?
How are we going to keep it from William? We'll just say we're whispering. How are we going to keep it from William?
Yeah. I can say it's my daughter. She looks a little like my daughter.
I have to read the handbook. I'm not clear on Weyland-Yutani regulations on keeping a child on a, cargo ship.
I was just offering up a suggestion. Yeah, I'm not sure what protocol is about that either. I do know that we have transported. We have one of our shipments was we did rescue some people, so it's not uncommon to have people that are being transported on this ship. So maybe saying that she's a relative is not the best thing, but he can't. As soon as he sees her, he's gonna know who she is.
Yeah.
Maybe we just try to keep him busy. I don't know, because we've got to get her back in cryo. I mean, as soon as he goes into cryo, he's going to see her too.
Unless we get him in the cryo first.
That is true. Yeah, we could say that. Yeah, he's first, and which it wouldn't be that uncommon for the medic to be one of the later people to actually go in.
And the captain.
And the captain, yeah.
So if we can just kind of keep her out of sight somehow.
Well, she knows that she is sick and gets blackouts, and that we have been. The reason that I was able to put her in, the reason that we put her in a cryo to start with was not just that we were traveling, was because I told her that we had exhausted our abilities here, and we were going to try to find somebody along the way that could actually help her.
Well, maybe we can convince her to stay in the med lab. I don't see what reason he would have for going in there.
I mean, I think we could do that. She is a child, though. She is gonna get bored. That's gonna happen. And if she actually, I don't like that she's staying in there with the dog, because if he decides to bite her and then she's able to, because I mean she's tiny and he's huge, she's going to be able to see what's going on.
Yeah,
and we don't want her to understand who she is.
Yeah.
I definitely don't.
As you're talking, all the lights go off, and it sounds like the air shuts off. It just seems like everything just shuts down. And then a few seconds later, everything comes back on.
Okay. Well.
Let's see. There's intercom in the med lab. I'm going to run over to the intercom and say, "Hey, is somebody doing work on the ship?"
Oh, that's just me. I'm just talking with Mother. It's Imogen.
Imogen, the mother. From where? Where are you right now?
I'm with Mother.
Are you in Mother's room? That's for the captain only. You know this.
Yes, Mother let me in. I asked her if I could come in. She said I could come in. I'm part of the crew now, so.
Yeah, but not everybody has access to Mother's room. It was just the captain and myself.
I do.
All right. We'll be right there. Cool.
Yeah, sure.
Are you fucking kidding me? Why is a child android given access to Mother?
I don't know, but we need to get on this, and we need to get on it fast.
All right, let's go. I guess while we're walking, or I'm going to walk at a brisk pace, but I don't want to alarm her should she come down the hall. Mhm.
But while we're going to walk, I'm going to say, hey, the weapon that I carry is a flamethrower, which is not going to do any good if we're trying to keep that thing from heating up. So,
Well, I have a pistol and a stun baton, and I don't know.
yeah. And as I'm going through the other door, I kind of look back. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to that's not going to work either. We need to go talk to her.
Okay.
So, what do I see as I open the bridge?
You don't see anything. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary.
All right, are you okay? You're following. All right, I'm gonna knock on the door to Mother, or I don't know if there's a doorbell or what, because I know that somebody can go in there and it can be occupied.
No, you got a key card, so
Chinks and it goes occupied. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
The
I use my. Actually, I look at the. I look at Carson and say, "Hey, make sure your card works." I know mine does.
there is a window in the door.
Oh, okay. There's a window.
Yeah.
We'll look in the window first, I guess.
Yeah, you see Imogen sitting in the chair.
All right. Let's go. Let's go inside.
All right.
Okay.
Ching.
You walk in.
Door opens. I walk in and I just kind of sit cross-legged on the floor beside her, and just kind of look at her and say, "What are you doing in here?"
Me? Nothing. I was just talking to Mother.
What were you guys talking about?
Mother's not. She doesn't have much to say right now because
Oh, she's got a lot to say.
She's broken though.
Yeah. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to me.
What are you guys talking about?
You can help fix her.
I'm not very good at fixing things. But I'm good at. I'm good with working with programs and such like that.
I said, well, what have y'all been talking about? I'm just curious. I mean, we've had many adventures in this. We've lost a lot of people. I don't know. A child doesn't necessarily need to know all of those gory details.
I know you miss your daughter.
Well, of course. I mean, everyone misses their family members. And I look at Carson. I turn my head away from her and I try to mouth to him as best I can. I guess I can just mouth it to you to see if you detect what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you catch any of it.
I didn't, and it sucks because I'm a sign language interpreter. I should be good at that. What else did you and Mother talk about?
Not too much. She was just busy giving me access to everything, and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
But
do you not think that it might be a little dangerous for a child to
I'm not a
have?
child. I'm a teenager.
Well, we all have to go through our proper schooling before we are allowed to have access like this. I think you can understand that. I mean, your father was a scientist, and he didn't become a scientist when he was a teenager. He was well on his way when he was a teenager.
Well,
But
I mean, I had access on Aeon Station, so I think it didn't hurt.
Imogen, I don't know if you remember what we're telling you, but I'm the captain of the ship. And I don't think it's a really good idea that while you're on here, that you do things like walk into Mother and talk to her without permission. If you want to talk to Mother, you should ask me, the captain, first.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I understand that.
All right. Well, how about we go get some cornbread?
Okay. Sounds good. I'm sorry.
That's okay, Imogen.
And I after he says that, I say, we understand. You were on Aeon Station for a long time. You had I know you had a close connection to members of that station. So a ship is a little different. That's why we got to listen to the captain. You know. I mean,
Okay.
maybe you'll get to be a captain one day. I mean, it all depends on what you decide you want to do with your life.
Cool.
All right, cornbread it is.
Yeah, she follows you. Follows right along.
Hey, I'm going to say I'll be right there.
All right. We'll meet you in the mess hall.
Yeah, I close the door to Mother, and I say, Mother, what did you tell her? And I will. We don't have to break off for this because I will relay this to Carson, whatever she tells me.
Gotcha. She replies, sorry, I was working on something. What did you say again? What was your question?
Mother, what did you tell her? Or rather, what did you tell Imogen? Yeah, sorry, I tried to be as brief, you know.
Please be more specific.
Does Imogen have access to classified logs, to our classified logs?
No.
Does Imogen have access to our unclassified logs?
Yes.
Does Imogen have access to, let's see, what would the Project Visage and the Imaging Gray under the player handouts, what would they be classified as?
They would be classified.
Okay, so those are considered classified logs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Mother, do not give her access to the classified logs or anything that we have deemed classified.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Mother. And then I leave the room.
Yep.
Actually, I open the door and I stick my head back in and say, Mother, she does not get access to this room.
Affirmative.
And then I back out and I let the door lock.
Affirmative.
All right, so I will follow. I guess they're already down in the mess hall by that point, because I would have waited till they were out of earshot to start the discussion with Mother. And out of earshot would mean not just off the bridge, but
Right.
through the little walkway.
Uh-huh. Understood.
Because I'm thinking that one zone of separation, one empty zone of separation, should be sufficient. I'm hoping. So I make my way down into the mess hall.
We're in there eating some cornbread.
I say, Imogen, what do you what do you think about this cornbread?
I think it's pretty good.
I know this isn't what is this what Andromeda? Yeah, because Andromeda made extra.
Yeah,
I'm just so much. Yeah, Andromeda made extra. Yeah, like yeah, this is kind of our favorite. Yeah,
it's very.
I look over at Carson and I say, I'm glad you enjoy it, and I give him a thumbs up and a nod, hoping
Excellent.
that he gets the message.
Mm-hmm.
And I will I guess technically the way that I would we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later. I'm going to say the way that I would inform him would have been through a message, a classified message to him from the bridge that he would get when he gets to his captain's quarters. Because we can send confidential messages to each other, correct? Classified?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can actually go right through the classified log if you need to. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can just, yeah. I will do that.
So she finishes eating her cornbread and she lifts up her arms and yawns and she says, "I'm getting tired. I think I'm going to go to sleep now."
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I might. I see like a lot of the rooms are taken. I'll just find one that isn't taken yet.
Did you meet anybody on your way over? Did you meet any of the new crew?
Just to be clear, it's just you all in there right now.
But I thought that they were in their rooms.
No, they're in the hotel rooms.
They're in the hotel room. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Let me take their.
It's a lot of puzzle pieces we're trying to be put together at that point.
Yep. I know it's a lot. I know.
Like I think that's okay. Let's see. Did they take quarters? They took that one and that one as their quarters? Is that right?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly which ones. I think the middle ones were open, if I remember right.
Let's give her this one in the back here, and let's try to keep. Yeah, and I'm gonna say, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's walk you to where your quarters are gonna be. I'll be happy to walk you there.
Okay. She gets up and she starts walking. She goes upstairs.
Yep, I'm right there with her. I'm saying just follow me.
Yep.
And walking down the hallway. Continuing to walk down the hallway. I'm gonna say that the first one's taken, but let's put you. I don't want to put you in the middle one because I've heard that he might snore a little bit. So let's put you in the last one down here. Okay. Is that gonna work?
Yeah, it looks great. She opens the door, jumps inside, and gets up on the bed, and you can tell she's pretty excited to have a room.
I kind of stand in the doorway and say, this looks like, is this room comparable to your room back at Ann Station?
Yeah. This will definitely work. I got everything I need.
We can bring you. I tell you what. Tomorrow, I can bring you some stuff if you want to. I mean, we don't have any posters, but if you want to try to make a poster, I don't know how you are at drawing. I want you to feel comfortable here.
Hey, yeah, sure.
Because I don't know how long it's going to be until we can find somebody that has the knowledge to handle those blackouts. But being comfortable can't hurt, right?
That's true. And look, I don't plan on going anywhere. I mean, after what happened on Ann Station, I don't really trust anybody. And you all are strangers to me, but so far you've been the nicest to me. So I'm trying to gain my trust in you. And as of right now, this is good. I'm just I don't want to go in the tube anymore. I don't want to do it anymore.
Are you talking about the cryotube?
Yeah.
Now we all do that when we go into hyperspace, because we call it hyperspace. What do we call it?
Well, you go into hypersleep.
Mhm.
Yeah, we all go into hypersleep when we travel really, really long distances, because going at that speed can do some really weird stuff to us biologically. I'm afraid of what might happen. I don't know how that would impact your blackouts at all. I don't know if Ward, GM, I don't know if Ward has ever actually stayed awake when we're traveling at those speeds. But I would expect that he would have some idea of how it may take a toll.
Ward would know that it has ill effects on humans.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to convey that to her, to say, hey, that this is none of us stay awake. Andromeda is usually the only one that stays awake, and she's done a pretty bang up job of keeping everything running. She helps us get in, and she helps us get out. And what I can do is make sure that you're not alone when you wake up. How's that sound?
Yeah.
If we have to get back in there, obviously we've got, we were going to have another place to go after this, but trying to work with you if you can work with us.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Okay. Well,
All right, so I walk over and I just kind of rub the top of her head. I was like, all right, get some good sleep, okay?
Okay. Good night.
good night, Imogen. We'll see you in the morning.
Okay.
And as her door closes and I step to the side, I step away from the front of the room, and I pull that tape out of my pocket that I used for the cryo.
Oh.
I'm going to pull a piece of tape off, and I'm going to stick it up on the top of her door where you can't see it, but I'll be able to tell if that has been open.
Yep. Okay. As you were shutting the door too, you noticed that she was out. Like that. Fast asleep.
Yep. I'm going to tell him, like, I'm going to motion to Carson. Captain's quarters.
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, so I go up to it, and I'm sitting there scanning my card, and it's not working. I just keep scanning.
And he just walks up and just kind of looks at you and scans his card.
And my shoulders kind of go down. I'm like, well, I wasn't going to be a good captain anyway, so. Right, so I guess inside, I give them the rundown of what happened on Mother, so I don't have to actually leave I don't have to actually leave a log.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, GM, can you disconnect and reconnect your video?
Yeah, you're frozen.
Am I?
Yeah.
It's
a nice
very
breeze,
Max
though.
Headroomish.
Yeah. I like how frozen he was smiling, though. He was like,
Oh, well, and we got nothing. Okay, so anyway, while that's working out, so I think she's warmed up to us enough to not try to go into Mother again. If she does, it's locked, but I don't think she's going to be too upset that it's locked after you discussed with her, appropriate actions of a crew member. I think she's going to be okay. I'm trying, the whole thing with, helping her outfit her room and everything. Maybe that's something that can, help keep her mind occupied for the next day. I guess I will stay on board and I will stay with her.
yeah, I don't mind staying here anyway. It helps me become familiar with the ship, and just to have another person on board in case anything happens.
I will say, if I walk up to the door and kind of look out and see, and then come back and kind of whisper and say, if anything happens while y'all are gone, and that thing starts to hatch, if I can't take the thing out, I will do whatever it takes to make sure that doesn't infect anybody else.
Agreed.
If that means me opening a hole in the side of the ship. As a medic, we all know that there are risks, because even in battle, we were the ones that have to run towards the people that are being injured, which means, we're used to putting ourselves in a risky situation. I think you understand what I'm getting at. We cannot let this get loose on this station.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. And as captain of the ship, I agree with those sentiments as well. I have just as much as a duty to preserve everything.
Now, with that said, I'll keep up with her tomorrow. So, if you have some more things that you want to do out on the station, I'm pretty certain that we'll be good for another day. And she seems to be coming around to the fact of getting back in the tube that she doesn't like.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get her to make another drawing, and we can put that on her tube so that it, makes it not feel quite so sterile, makes it a little more personable to say, hey, this one is yours. This is, I understand
like
she's
a good
treated as
idea.
a teenager, and sometimes sometimes teenagers do odd things, but I think it's worth a shot.
Carson walks over and rummages through some things of his own personal things, and he pulls out like a tablet thing, and he just says, I got a ton of old comic books on this thing, so if she needs some reading material, we can also maybe occupy her time with this.
Yeah, that's good. Let's just make sure that tablet does not have the ability to connect to this ship at all, because we can't risk it.
This is all leisure, no business.
Okay, good.
I think of following these files
like
since
that.
I was a kid.
That may be something that you can literally keep in your back pocket for a worst case scenario. So I think it's good to have options. So
all
on that
right,
note,
well, I guess we should get to bed. A lot's happened in the past couple of hours.
And I don't know which room's mine, so I just go to my room.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. I don't know whose is whose. Because actually, I think one. Let's see. Have they been on the?
Yeah, they did pick out rooms.
Yeah.
So
and I think William actually picked out the room that I vacated, so that's fine.
I'm the one that moved them away, so you can blame me.
No, that's fine. That's fine, because I vacated quarters.
Yeah.
I may actually take. You know what? I'm going to take the quarters next to Imogen. That might help. That might help out a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna head that direction and try to sleep.